What's going on? This is the Go Long Podcast live at Hamburg Brewing Company. Jim, what's happening?
Feels good to be back. We always get a little more energy when we're here in the building, and a little more.
There we go. Cheers.
Cheers. So this feels good. What time is it again?
I think it's 12:38 on a Thursday. So
I'm a big beer
for
breakfast guy usually.
Yeah.
Then gradually like to get a little stronger, but this works.
A rookie mistake though on your part, Jim. You know, we were talking about the show, what we want to get into over an Oktoberfest here at Hamburg. And then I said, Jim, do you want a second beer? You said no. And I secured a Louis. You're down to a couple sips. I mean, are those two sips going to last you this hour?
I feel like there's a way I'm going to be able to get one more, but if not, that is a rookie mistake.
Zoom does have a pause feature, so we can always hit pause and resupply. But yes, we're here at Hamburg Brewing Company. Huge thank you again to everybody who made our kickoff bash on the eve of the season. That was a lot of fun. We want to do it again for sure. Indoors, I guess, as it gets colder, probably right where we are right now, right where we had the draft party.
Yeah, this is a good area.
It's a great spot. So come on in, Hamburg Brewing Company. Get your Oktoberfest, your sours, your IPAs, anything and everything you need. They support this podcast, and we are very, very grateful.
The Little Bit Lager now is still 8.0. I mean, we can't forget about a Little Bit Lager now.
It's a sneaky 8.
And it's football season. I just feel like you always have to have at least one of those.
You do. You do have to get a little bit lager now. We have a loyal subscriber listener, Joe Pinzoni, down in New York State.
Yeah.
And he's
a happy hour guy, right?
He's a happy hour guy. And going on the record with this, his idea was to get a Go Long beer going. We might have to talk to Johnny Russo and get a Go Long IPA, at least a double.
That could change our life.
It could. All right, we're sitting on a multi-million-dollar idea here. So we'll go back with the Brewers. We'll whip something up. They're great guys.
It'll have to be strong.
Very strong.
We need an 7.5, 8.0.
Dub it. No, I think double digits.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, double digits for sure. Have you gotten pumpkin yet? I mean, I know we're going to another brewery, but it's getting close to pumpkin beer season.
It's close. I have a love-hate relationship with that. I get it. You know, I'm into the pumpkins.
Yeah.
It's just a little much this time of year, but I get it. It's fun. I do like pumpkin donuts, and I mean, it's good.
Ella's favorite word right now. Pumpkin. Everything's pumpkin. It's a great time of year.
After a couple Little Bit Lager nows, that's all I say too.
Well, we've got some teams and some quarterbacks looking like pumpkins.
Man,
call that a segue, a transition in the biz, Jim. But
the roller coaster ride of the NFL has begun. We're 2 weeks in. We had our, week 1, we thought everything was in stone. Week 2, everything changed already. The Saints don't know if Jameis Winston's good enough again. They had to put the gimmick man in a little bit to run around and take.
Staying on that hill. I'll die on that hill.
He's just watching him. He's still playing prepared, and they have a good offensive line. It's going to help any quarterback when you can run the ball, and it makes it a lot harder when you can't. And the Saints weren't able to run the ball last week. Carolina's defense right now is playing at a high level, both pass defense and run defense. They're blitzing, they're physical.
Yeah.
Now they play tonight against Houston with the rookie quarterback Davis Mills. So that's going to be interesting how the rookie handles this good team. But short weeks are always funny when you travel. Defense travels pretty well. But we'll see if Darnold keeps playing well. The Saints did a nice job of stopping McCaffrey, not giving up big plays. But Darnold played a really good game, and they have weapons. DJ Moore, there's certain receivers that just show up all the time when you watch tape and you don't hear a lot about in the media. Like Christian Kirk, I mentioned in the bonus report today.
Yes.
And who's the Giants? Why am I drawing a blank?
Sterling Shepard is in that category.
Every game. Mark Ross, friend of the program, draft pick from years ago. That was not a Dave Gettleman pick. That was a Jerry Reese, Mark Ross selection.
Could probably use Mark Ross right about now.
They're about to look. They're going to be looking for one soon. But Daniel Jones has shown life.
He has. I mean, he played great in that Thursday night game.
He really did. And
I mean, to put it right on Slayton's hands deep.
You can't. And that's the thing. You can't take that. And that's why I say you can't not. You got to give him credit for that play. That's a good throw. That should have been caught.
You nailed it, too, with your first Monis report. And everybody out there, please, every Thursday morning, Jim Monis will have a column at golongtd.com, the Monis report, musings, takes, insights, and, of course, the quarterback rankings, which we are going to get into at length on this podcast. But you put it perfectly. Saquon just might be a guy.
Home run hitter. He's a home run hitter.
Home run hitter.
There's size and speed for sure, but to put that type of fourth pick of the draft on a guy, that he better change your franchise. And I just don't see Barkley as that natural vision, create his own runs. Now he's so good in the screen games, natural hands, and he's just so powerful. Like, I'm not trying to take away his talent. I'm taking away the value of where he was picked.
You know, we obviously covered and wrote and talked about the 17 draft ad nauseum. It might be time at Go Long to look at that 18 draft.
Yeah.
And really break that
It's
down.
that time. Now you can start
Yeah.
really. Yeah, that's a good call.
Because I think there were a lot of Giant fans that wanted a quarterback, and now we're Sam Darnold. I mean, within that Joe Brady offense, it's a perfect marriage. Everything is in rhythm. Everything is smooth. They've got an answer for every coverage, every pressure. I mean, that was a defense in New Orleans that just beat the everlasting just snot out of the Packers and the MVP.
And they've done it to the Saints do that to pretty much everybody with that defense.
The Panthers made them look.
The Panthers earned that win, I will say. They earned it. They had to fight for everything, really. But yes, for Darnold to come in that game and play the way he did shows you one thing, that he certainly has ability. Next thing it shows you is what the Jets did with Darnold is what Jacksonville is doing to Trevor Lawrence. Is these guys need time. They need help. They need a plan in place. The Jets threw Darnold into the wolves, and it was just a mess. And I feel that way watching Jacksonville right now with Trevor Lawrence. It's like, what are you guys trying to do with him? What's the plan for him? And it's right now, it's like, go out there and win us the game, Trevor. I mean, he came out last week and had a great first drive against Denver, who has a really good defense. Lawrence takes him right downfield and scores. And you're like, there he is. The rest of the game, it was complete debacle. It was chaos. It was pressure. It was him missing throws, not being accurate, not being a good decision maker. And everybody knows Trevor Lawrence is talented. Zach Wilson's talented. But, man, if you can't protect these rookies, you better have a plan in place.
Yeah. I think, and just to reset quick.
Yeah,
like
sorry.
we're
I
gonna.
got on a little
Oh,
tangent there, but
I love it because it gets right into what we have to get.
Excited
Hey, you know what?
We're in Hamburg. We're at the brewery.
Summer's changing the fall.
Yeah,
we're at the brewery.
It feels right.
I feel like we can actually kind of take a bite into this league a little, digest it. So, no, but first let's start there with your quarterback rankings.
Yep.
The eye in the sky, and later in the show we're going to get into. Obviously, a lot of Bills listeners here want to know Josh Allen. Will the real Josh Allen stand up? You've watched every snap of his since he came into the league. I mean, obviously, the Bills let you go that year before.
Yeah.
So you were right involved with all of this quarterback transitioning with the team, with the league. So we'll get into Josh Allen. I want to talk about the Miami Dolphins later. I want to write on them for Friday morning, I think. So we'll have a story up. Maybe you can write it by now. But definitely want to get into the Dolphins because
I like it.
it'd be rough to be a Dolphins fan right now. Bucks Rams is probably the game of the week. Aaron Rodgers, we always tend to come back to Aaron Rodgers, and he loads the media. But in the media, he had some things to say himself. So
do you feel like he's always talking to you, or at this point do you feel like he's just talking to the media?
No, he was aiming at Jermichael Finley, actually,
So now he's
last week was me, Jim. Last week.
So now he's finding
moving on to Jermichael. Yeah. No, you cannot criticize him and pretend to be in his brain. Not allowed.
I love Aaron Rodgers so much as a talent. And
he's unbelievable, and he played well.
It is. It's so. This whole situation's just been, especially being with you on this pod and knowing, and hearing, and it's just.
You know what I think about Jim is, and he's a sublime talent and one of the best players ever. Like, we don't need to qualify everything we say with that, but that's the fact of the matter.
You're right.
But it is interesting. I just think the hypocrisy of blasting anonymous sourcing when he communicated as an anonymous sourcer's agent all offseason for 6 months, holding the team hostage. I mean, that's interesting. And the hypocrisy of, constantly, I mean, weekly just railing against sports media and, seeing people are only looking for clicks and headlines and this and that, when he says something on the McAfee show, which is an entertaining show. I go on Mad Dog Sports Radio a lot myself. Say something there, and then it's tweeted out, and boom. I mean, it detonates. So I don't know, just a little odd. And
the old answer is he could just do a little less of that, and hey, man, just get your team to the Super Bowl and let that do the talking for you. But
yeah,
he seems to have a passion to get his opinion out.
yeah,
there.
the narrative means a great deal to
him. It does.
It does.
He's proven that.
It does. I mean, you beat the Detroit Lions, and he was
you're
very
feeling
quick
very,
to
very
respond to. I mean, Jermichael Finley was his teammate for 5 years. Like, everybody can hate on him all they want on Twitter. Like, he was maybe one of the greatest tight ends in team history. Like, his opinion matters. Like, anybody's opinion matters who was very, very good on that team. Like, it's okay for people to talk to him. I think he went on ESPN, Max Kellerman's show. That's what he was unhappy with. But I'll just say, my point being, Jim, you were on Drew Brees for a number of years. Donovan McNabb. Eli Manning comes to mind for me. I mean, he was in the New York media and I mean, just getting killed like day in and day out. Like, you know, they would collapse down the stretch and suffer some brutal losses. And he wins 2 Super Bowls, right? Like, he beats Tom Brady, but he in that market. And did he ever respond to anything? Maybe he did, and I don't know it. But
no, I think you're right, and I think there's something to be said for those guys that don't. You know, they're that focused.
Yeah.
They don't care enough to let people know what their opinion is. And hey, you really can't win. You're always going to upset somebody when you just start giving out your opinion. And I think personally, those guys we were around, I mean, look at Breeze is in the media now. McNabb, I think, is still in the media. I know he's had some issues, but those guys obviously have media savvy, but when they played, they were quiet.
Yeah,
speaking of Eli,
I don't want to muzzle. I don't want to muzzle anybody.
No, you don't
either.
want to.
No, I think it's good.
Muzzled.
It's good that we're getting authenticity.
Yes.
I'm just surprised at the weekly.
Yeah. Like
displeasure
when you're going back at people all the time.
Yeah.
That's. But speaking of Eli, I watched the first half of the Monday night game with Peyton and Eli. That broadcast they do. I was just curious.
Awesome.
If you love football, like the X and O part of football, they're great. They are outstanding at, especially from the quarterback. They're telling you exactly what they should be thinking about.
Totally.
I was impressed. That was more my style. I could watch that, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm not saying
you're
Lewis,
being nice.
Yeah, I like watching those guys.
Lewis is good.
He
I like
football.
him.
I'm not saying they don't Greasy. I'm whatever on, but those
kind of
guys,
milk a toast.
They can give you good examples, but still be laid back and have fun. And you feel like you're sitting around like we would be as friends watching a game, but you're getting to learn things. Those two are on a whole level with quarterback knowledge and football knowledge.
And they had Brett Favre on.
Favre,
which was awesome.
Favre was great. They had Gronk on, and that was funny because he didn't care.
You know what's funny with Favre too, and if people caught the broadcast with Eli and Payton, like I get it. And I mean, I've talked to Ty Detmer and other players, and I've used this anecdote in so many Favre stories and podcasts. But like when he, early in his career, I mean, you probably heard it too. How he didn't know what a nickel,
all-time favorite football.
Right, he didn't know what a nickel defense was, and but he knows. And he likes sharing that story.
But he
is really smart.
He is so
like when it comes to football, like he can read a defense,
no doubt,
as well as anyone, and you're getting to see that a little bit during those broadcasts.
I thought it was awesome. Just a really cool concept they have going there.
No doubt. Yeah, it was great. We had Austin, my brother, over, and as we're watching it, we're like, which broadcast do we want to watch? And just gravitated toward that because it's like you at home with your brother watching a game.
That's how I felt. It was
sitting
just
there with
to,
two of the greatest quarterbacks ever that are brothers. So, all right. Well, kind of got off another tangent.
I know. I forgot I wanted to bring that up to you, and when you brought up Eli, it triggered that with me. I was like,
but let's start with the eye in the sky. So I think this is
where we're at. Yep.
I'm not blowing smoke. Obviously, I'm a little biased because we've gotten close over this past year, and I feel like, I talk to a lot of people around the league, Jim. I mean, players, coaches, scouts, and a lot of people who think they really know more than they might know. You are like at the cutting edge of this game, this league, offensive football, where it's going. And so I just love that you're watching every snap of every quarterback, just like you did last season for the hell of it.
That was the first time I did it last year. So I had
to stay sharp,
just to stay in it, just to see what I could take.
So we talked about it a lot, not a lot on this show, but you're doing that. And I'll let you explain how you grade it, because
Yeah.
I'll probably butcher it,
No,
but
I will.
just tell the listeners how you come
It's-
to that magical score on the right side of the screen that they can see on the
And-
bonus report.
At the end of the day, I'm just trying to see the meaningful plays. Was it a good throw? Was it a tough throw or a great throw type concept? At the end of the other side of that is the negative points. Did you miss a wide open play that was going to be a first down? That's critical. Did you miss a play that was going to miss a throw that was going to ruin a drive or a touchdown? Those are minuses, obviously. Not every interception's a minus. If you get hit from behind, ball pops up, D lineman catches it, I'm not getting you for that. I mean, it happens. So you're not getting minuses for that. At the same time, if you throw a jump ball and a guy makes a play, I may not give you a credit for a great throw. I mean, so that's kind of how I watch it. Obviously, it's kind of my own opinion on the throws. So there's always
That's
going
why
to
it's
be,
the eyeball test, right?
that's why you have to watch
has
it.
to
And there's
be.
no set way to do it. And then you divide all those points into their number of rushing attempts, because you get points for runs and pass attempts.
I love it because it's like, okay, there are a lot of great analytical websites out there and analytical reporters out there, and they're breaking this game down to a science. It's like they're cramming these numbers into an Excel spreadsheet, seeing what it spits out. Like, there is a formula here, but it's very human.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I want to go on. Like, the game is played by human beings.
And that's
there
watch
has to
film.
be some your discretion, your perspective involved that's put into this equation.
It goes back to week one when, you can put up great stats. Carr had great stats week one. He didn't play a great game. He made some great throws at the end of the game. He was really bad in the first half of the game one, but week two, he was lights out against Pittsburgh, who we know has a good defense. And it was good to see, because Carr last year showed that his consistent accuracy and throws down the field. I thought Carr was outstanding last year.
Yeah.
Golf the same way against, that first week where they were getting blown out against San Fran. He was doing a lot of throws that didn't matter. San Fran was giving up some stuff they didn't care. So his stats look good.
See, I was pulling up the.
Let me see.
I was pulling up the eye in the sky, and so I wasn't paying completely.
I wasn't
attention,
crushing golf. I was saying he's playing okay, but
Yeah.
the stats don't
I
necessarily.
here I am giving you all this love, all
the
this.
stats don't necessarily show you everything. That's all I was saying.
I might have to get Doug Whaley on here to replace you. If you're just going to be
He's
bashing
available.
Jared Goff like
We're
this.
available. There's you guys you might want to look for some people that are getting paid to evaluate NFL, not
Jared Goff.
no, when we look at
he's
it,
a little too low on this list
it's
for
gonna
me.
now the one thing I want to tell you, it's going to fluctuate a lot until about week 8, 10. We just need more sample size, obviously, like any type of analytical thing. So the sample size isn't big right now. So you're going to have Jameis Winston be at the top of the list week 1 and Jameis Winston be at the bottom of the list week 2. I mean, once you get the roller coaster ride over with the sample size, you'll get a feel for who's really a consistent good quarterback right now. And that's the fun part of it. But it's cool to see some of the names, like Daniel Jones this is the best I've seen him play. Like, it's first time, and I've been hard on Daniel Jones, but it's the first time I'm saying, hey, I see a little bit what the Giants might be seeing, where, hey, they see something in him. I think he needs to take another step yet, but he obviously is showing some ability. I mean, the Redskins have a good defense. Washington football team, got to get that out of my system. But that football team has a good defense, not great defense.
They need a name. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
It's still ridiculous to call them the football team.
Rivera's team, whatever. But they have a good defense, not great. But anyway, I thought he did a nice job against them. And now this is where Daniel Jones needs to take a real step. They're 0-2. Okay, they're playing a very average Atlanta Falcons team this week in New York. This is a game for Daniel Jones. You have to win if you really want to say, I'm your franchise quarterback. You can't be 0-3 with a home. That would be 2 home losses.
Yeah,
into a team that you need to beat. So this, to me, might be a reason I'm taking the Giants this week too, betting wise. But this is a game that Daniel Jones needs to win, or else I think there's serious questions.
Do you bet on every game?
No. You gotta pick. No,
you pick and choose.
You bet on every game. You could flip coins and do better.
Yeah,
if you bet on every game.
I got your rankings up.
Yeah.
And all right, just so in case people didn't get all that, like, you get a +1 on a good play, good, a -1
really
on a bad play, and
bad,
some plays might be nothing.
Yeah, a lot of plays are nothing. A lot of plays are A dump off is nothing. Like if it's a
Right.
little check down, it's zone coverage, you're not getting points for that. But
So then you take that number and then
you divide those points divided into the amount of rushing attempts and passing attempts.
rushing attempts and passing attempts.
Got to add both because I give you credit for good runs too.
Okay.
And that's why, because to be honest, Lamar Jackson, guys like Lamar and Daniel Jones, to be honest, you got to give those guys credit. They make plays with their legs, and that's a big thing. But some of those plays are design runs too. So, if you're getting design runs for you, then you got to factor those in.
All right. Well, let's look at it here because I think people are going to be very surprised at some things. I mean, everybody is going to have their own personal biases, and everybody is consuming certain channels of media coverage, and certain names are going to elicit certain emotions.
That's the hard part when you do
that. But that's why I love it, because you're watching every snap of every quarterback, and you'll be surprised at what you see 2 weeks in. Like you said, small sample size
right now, and that's why it's it'll change.
Teddy Bridgewater, number one.
I mean, 2 weeks in a row.
0.364.
2 weeks in a row, he's done nothing but make really good throws. Now against Jacksonville, he started. It wasn't. He didn't play as well as he did week one, but he still played really well. And no turnovers. Like, this is big. Like, guys that aren't turning the ball over. Mac Jones has not thrown an interception in 2 games for the Patriots. That impresses, that's a big thing, especially for the Patriots when you see the way Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence are just throwing picks nonstop. Yeah. It tells you that they've connected. Mac Jones has understood the offense, what's being asked of him, and obviously the Patriots are doing a nice job. They're not asking Mac Jones to be a hero either.
Right.
Like Jacksonville and the Jets are doing to Wilson and Trevor Lawrence. They're asking them to do everything. And that's
Mac Jones is coming in at number 9.
And we'll see how it shakes out.
0.261.
He's playing his best defense this week against the Saints. Okay, so let's see how this is going to be a really good test for them. I like that running back the Patriots have, Harris. Harris. He's tough. That guy's a good running back, another Alabama guy. And the Patriots defense, guys, I wrote about it in the report, but they are for real. They're showing up again. So, I say that, but they've also played Miami and the Jets. So that's why you just sample size is big. So we don't want to rush to judgment.
Let's stay on the Patriots so briefly.
Yeah.
So I watched that game probably more closely than any other game this weekend. And I get it. It's the Jets, right? Like, they stink, and they've stunk for a long time.
The Jets defense has some players.
Yeah, C.J. Mosley, Marcus Smith. You're right.
The Jets have some players on defense.
They do.
I don't want to say they're not. Yeah.
But I'll just say, like, watching that game, I mean, Bill Belichick, he embarrassed Zach Wilson. Like, it was hard to watch.
He's known for that.
Yeah, he's known for that. Rookie quarterbacks.
Known for it.
It was everything we've seen, though, to the upteenth degree. It was a different stratosphere. At one point in the third quarter, Zach Wilson had 4 completions and 4 interceptions. There was confusion. There was pressure. There was
all of it.
All of it. I mean, and you can see signs with Zach Wilson that he's kind of athletic. There was a play where Lawrence guy had a free run at him, and he just stared, like he kept his eyes downfield, and he juked him out of his shorts, and he threw incomplete. But it's like, okay, like
he has ability.
I can see
the ability is there.
I can. So it's not like Zach Wilson is an absolute bum.
No.
And what Belichick did, oh my God, maybe it's premature, but I think that he's got a master plan here, and there's some brilliance to what he did this offseason in paying close to $300 million for all those guys, and just saying, "All right, let's get by on the cheap. Cam Newton can come back at this rate. Hell, we might cut you." They ended up cutting him. Mac Jones, we'll just stay at 15. We're not going to try to mortgage our future to move up. We'll just take this guy from Alabama that completed 77% of his passes. He'll do what we say. We're not going to put him in bad situations. We're going to run the ball. We're going to add all these guys on defense. Get Dante Hightower. The COVID gang is back.
Yeah, they got him back. I like that.
They're they could contend. I'm sold.
Oh, if Mac Jones continues to not turn the ball over and play that way, they will be competitive. They'll be in every game. Yes, they can beat anybody. Not to give the Bills too much credit, but the way the Patriots destroyed Zach Wilson was the way the Bills destroyed Miami.
Totally.
That the blitz scheme that they were using against Miami, not just obviously the Russo and Epinesa. I always say his name.
Epinesa. You're good.
Epinesa. I don't know why I get that confused. Those two, the whole D line was getting after it, but the way they were blitzing the linebackers too, Miami had zero clue what was going on. They were totally outcoached and outplayed, and it reminded me what the Patriots did to Wilson. But yeah, the Bills they're going to have to contend with the Patriots if Mac Jones continues to play that way.
Defensively, they've got studs at every level. If you, we've been critical of Mac Jones. Like, I think
we want
on
to
this,
see it. You want to
you
see
want to
it.
see it, and also at quarterback, I think it's like, okay, you need to do something special. Like, you need this big arm, you need this athleticism, you need something that is uncoachable because you can be coached up. Or Mac Jones, he's not really that athletic. He's athletic enough, maybe. He's not doesn't really that strong of an arm. But if you've got the smarts, like, that can take you a long ways. And they're gambling on his ability to see the game quickly, to try to. I mean, Drew Brees. You look back at his first year in San Diego, threw the ball like 20 times a game. It wasn't much. Eventually, he got to a point where he could be throwing it 40,
Every
50
play.
times every play. Like,
Matt, to your point, Mac Jones hasn't been asked. He hasn't needed to be perfect yet or great. He hasn't made the throws that you just say wow on. But to also his credit is he hasn't, hurt his team, and he's made all the throws they're asking him to make right now. That's a very fair way to bring a rookie in, and they have a plan.
Russell Wilson, same thing, right?
But as far as
His first year, he came
same
in,
deal.
he didn't throw much at all.
Like it goes a long way. So
Yeah.
there's a way to bring rookie quarterbacks along.
You can see it too. Like, he's not going to make mistakes. They're not going to put him in bad situations.
Now, if he does, I mean, I will say, I'm looking forward to watching that against the Saints. I am.
Yes, Saints, Patriots.
Saints.
Let's get into that then. Game of the week. What are you looking for?
No, I do. I think the Patriots can.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're talking about Rams. Tampa's the game of the week.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Well, that's the game of the week.
Yes. Jeez.
Tampa in
How many
LA.
Louis have I had?
Well, you're hitting for this time of day. It's a
Yeah.
good start. You wish the Tampa Rams game was a prime timer, but hey, we'll take 4:25 p.m. I think the Rams are going to get Tampa this week. And I was, when you dive into it a little bit, Tampa's third down offense is ranked 30th in the NFL right now. That's surprising. They're getting away with some, they've made Brady obviously is lights out, but if they can pressure, like we always talk about with Brady or any quarterback, until you find a way to pressure Brady, they do eat you apart. Like they just have that, they have enough talent. They're good up front, and Brady has time, and he's going to make the right decisions. I think the Rams have the recipe though. Atlanta was in that game against Tampa, and we know Atlanta is very average. That was a good game in the fourth quarter. Atlanta battled back. It looked like it was going to be ugly, but they battled back and then had some unfortunate interceptions. The game got out of hand again. But the Rams are going to really test Tampa, and Tampa's going out there. And I feel like this is a week where the Rams, if they're all this greatness that they're talking about, and they are playing very well right now, I think the Rams beat Tampa this week.
My problem is, Jim, like subconsciously, Tom Brady is bigger than any single team. So when we talk about the Patriots and we talk about, in my head, I'm thinking
he was
Tom Brady. Yeah, Patriots.
It's the Patriots.
Yeah, I still can't get out of that.
It's funny. Mac Jones climbs the pocket very much like Brady. I mean, it's almost like how did they get a guy that has the similar thing coming out of college where wasn't the most athletic, arm strength good enough, not special, but intelligence and not turning the ball over. And here they are again, and they couldn't have known he would be there. I mean, if they thought he was Tom Brady, everybody would have made a move to, whatever. But hey, they have him, and honestly, they look like the Patriots we think of.
Nobody wants to hear it here in Buffalo.
No.
But can you imagine?
No.
Can you imagine if they actually did find their quarterback for the next 20 years?
I could tell you that early signs say yes, but like we said, more sample size to come.
What might stand out to people as well on the eye in the sky, Josh Allen, number 21 through 2 games.
Yeah.
He's at 0.173.
Yeah. And it can, if you look, it's very,
it's going to fluctuate
right up.
He can shoot right up.
It will. The fluctuation is going to happen. It's that. But this is a week where, Washington has, like I said, they have a good defense. It's not a great defense. We talked about early in the year, a lot of people, with us included, thought Washington's defense was going to be this they're good, but they haven't played like a top 5 defense. They've been picked apart pretty well. And the way the Bills look, this is a time now where put another good game together, Josh, where the big plays haven't necessarily come easy for them like they did last year, which we talked about that in the offseason, where teams plan now. They game plan in the offseason they start studying these offenses that caught them by storm last year, and the Bills were one of them.
How are they defending Josh Allen? Why
No,
has he not been the same quarterback?
I feel like he has missed some throws down the field. But I thought he got a little better against Miami. He certainly looked more like himself against Miami. Diggs is the guy I'm not noticing down the field as much as I did last year. Where Emmanuel Sanders, I am noticing where they got to find a way to keep getting him involved. He's
good.
He is good. He uncovers with route running. He makes the play when his hands are good. That was a really nice signing, Emmanuel Sanders, to help that receiving core because Beasley's limited. You know what Beasley is. And Diggs can do everything, but I'm just not seeing Diggs run by people and really be that take the top off yet guy.
Diggs was maybe the best wide receiver in football last season.
And he still could be this year. It could come, but maybe teams are trying to take him away a little bit more.
Are you noticing anything?
No,
I
can't say
the safety
that's
over
what I
anything like
I
that.
have not noticed that because the Bills. I mean, they use so many guys. I think you have to be. You have to be. Now, it was nice to see them run the ball, attempt to run the ball. But the one thing we haven't talked about with the Bills, these running backs need to find a way real quick to hold on to the football. That is a concern, and it's going to drive it. It's a coach.
I'm sure McDermott doesn't care that much about fumbling.
It'll keep you up at night. I mean, you have that dependability is everything at running back. And Singletary has 3 fumbles, not lost, but 3 fumbles, and Moss had 1 last week. Josh Allen fumbles the ball.
He does.
You're talking about those guys are your main ball handlers when they're running the football.
Say this about Aaron Rodgers. He never fumbles. It's crazy. It's nuts. There could be a guy come like the best of the best. Like they just know when somebody's right there and they tuck it.
Yeah. But I think that's something to pay attention to that they need to really shore up the Bills. You can't do that. I mean, putting the ball on the ground, it's unacceptable. It'll drive you crazy, and it'll get you out of the league for Singletary and Moss. Who those guys are good running backs, but they fumble. They'll be moving on from them quick.
It is strange though with Josh Allen. I mean, the overthrow to Emmanuel Sanders, right? I mean, he's been missing guys. He had some dropped interceptions.
Yes, maybe one.
He did have, like, even last season, as amazing as he played, he probably had, I don't know, 17 or 18 dropped interceptions. So there's still, I can't remember who did it. Maybe it was Pro Football Focus. There was
that's a big number.
There's a montage.
Yeah, he
subjective,
did, right? But he did. He had some. They all do.
Yeah,
but yeah,
somehow it needs to get back to that point where everything just seems to come easy. Last season, it was just automatic, man. Like, they just revved into another gear and nobody could stop them, especially into November and December. And then they got into the playoffs, and, if Darrell Williams doesn't hop on that fumble against Indianapolis, that could be a different story.
No question.
Baltimore, I mean, it was windy. I get it, but he did not play like himself in that game. And then obviously against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, Josh Allen was not Josh Allen. I just think that the Bills need to kind of look in the mirror and have some self-awareness here, whether it's Daboll, McDermott, Allen. Everybody has to be on the same page and be like, look, we got to run the ball. Like, we have to take what defenses are giving us. You're not yourself. We can't go out there and throw. He threw the ball 50 times in the opener. There were 10 snaps of 0 personnel in week 1 across the NFL. 9 of those snaps were the Bills.
Yeah,
like, we give Brian Daboll a lot of praise on this podcast, and rightfully so.
We have.
But, I mean, dude, come on. Like, what are you doing? Like, Singletary looks like the player everybody told us he was with all the work he did with Nick Hicks down in Florida. Like, he
does. He looks good.
He had that extra gear. He was decisive. Zach Moss is a bruiser and a banger. I don't really understand why Sean McDermott had him as a game day inactive in week 1.
More to it than that, I guess. Something. It doesn't make sense.
I think he just probably overthought it with special teams. You think Tywan Jones, Matt Breida gave you different things. Like, I get it, the fumbles. That's a good point. But Moss gives you a dimension for this offense. Singletary gives you a dimension for this offense. Don't relegate them to being the Luke Longley and Ron Harper of your offense.
They're just along for the ride.
They were actually pretty good players.
They were good players.
Let's go Randy Brown
those
and
guys,
Bill Wennington.
Yeah, those guys
there we go.
They were good big men. They
treat him like he's Bill Wennington. But
I like that comparison. Zach Moss and Bill Wennington.
I mean, come
on. They need the threat of a running game. Every team does. Just a threat. It doesn't mean you have to just to have a threat, the defense has to know you may run it in certain situations.
Look at the Packers, Jim. What did they do against the
mean,
Lions? But they ran
but
the ball. They were
it was
patient.
totally-
They
yes.
chipped Aaron Jones. Like they chipped away.
He's so good. That is an all around really good running back.
I know there's like the push pass and a couple dump off touchdowns.
Sure.
Like
Not necessarily.
Aaron Jones
those,
was the
more
best player on
yes.
the field.
No, yeah, we don't talk. Rodgers gets this gift that he's back now, but I mean that game wasn't necessarily. Rodgers played a damn good game. A couple of those throws, especially in the second quarter there.
The Tanyan throw and the Devontae Adams. The Adams throw
just
50 yards
just
downfield.
like right on.
You know, he caught him in single high safety. Like, for whatever reason, the Lions, they were playing with that too deep look all game, forcing the Packers to be patient.
That's all the Mannings were talking.
They're winning 17-14, and then
Mannings are like, too deep, run the ball.
But the second they don't, he makes you pay.
Makes a play.
The Bills have to kind of do the same thing.
And I think Josh hasn't shown. It's not like Josh is playing bad. It's just he spoiled everybody last year, and it's there. I think it's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
he
I agree. It better be there with what they paid him.
It's time,
right? They paid him a lot of money,
and you don't want to lose another home game.
Yeah,
like hey, that week 1, okay, that Steeler team isn't that good.
I will say too. I mean, they won 35-0, and we're nitpicking here, obviously. Like, teams are going to take 35-0 wins over a division opponent any day of the week.
Now it's time to show up again. Now put another one together. Yeah. Obviously, it won't be 35-0, but Washington's offense, McLaurin and Logan Thomas, you have to be ready for those guys. But other than that, this is a game the Bills should keep that scoring. The Washington team shouldn't score too much on the Bills.
He does need to be special, though, I think.
It's time to see it. I agree.
Because the Super Bowl is the expectation.
Gotta be. You're gonna have to be. What we watched when you watch Lamar against Mahomes.
Yeah.
That's what you need from Josh.
Something special.
Yeah.
You do. Mahomes is the bar. That's who you have to get past.
And the reason that Kansas City lost that game the other night was the turnovers in the fourth quarter. Mahomes had a bad one, and the running back fumbled. So it's like, once again, we talk about Mahomes all the time, but that can't happen. That turnover in the fourth quarter can't happen.
That was bad.
So anyway,
but to beat that team,
good, right?
Like, we can talk about the running game,
right? And
I get it. They have to. I'm just saying they need to run the ball more while they kind of figure everything else out and have a threat. But eventually, you're going to get into January football, and you're going to need Josh Allen to be special. We saw Lamar Jackson be special.
Saw it
Monday night. That was Sunday night. That was unbelievable.
Mental toughness.
I mean,
overcame a rough start. It didn't phase him.
Pick 6 where Sammy Watkins falls down.
That wasn't his fault, right?
Like, ridiculous penalties, like illegal man downfield. Like,
it doesn't phase him. It doesn't phase him, right?
He just keeps coming.
Coming.
Everything's downhill. That unique blocking scheme.
It's Greg Roman.
He's Greg Roman.
But
yeah,
that was special. I mean, that was the definition of guys.
Special. I got. And you saw special in Josh Allen. It's in there.
It's there.
It's in there.
Oh, it's there.
So it's a long season. I think that they'll get that out of him at some point. But it is a good test. I mean, like, as you wrote, granted, Washington is Washington, but they've got some good players.
It's a good defense.
It's a game at home you should take care of.
It's a good defense that if you're trying to win a Super Bowl, take care of home, beat this team, keep it moving.
Let's stay in the division.
Yep.
Turn it into an AFC podcast again.
Happens.
AFC East, Miami Dolphins, Jim.
Wow. Well, you're ready to dive into them. Pretty good, and I think you have a great point as far as some of their picks. And
you have a cornerback drafted in the first round that is a game day inactive. You have an offensive lineman in Austin Jackson who gets beat like a drum.
Their offensive line.
And you've got a quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa who we've spoken on him a lot on the show. He does not look worthy of where they took him. And the excuses are running out. You gave him weapons. He's another full year removed from the injury. You know he's small. You know he plays small. You know he's susceptible to injuries. He cracks his rib. You could say, "Oh, freak," but like that was part of it. That was part of the pit.
Part of it. No, you know what? Brissett is he's really an ideal number 2 in the NFL, and it's going to be interesting to see how they play in Vegas this week with Brissett. When a backup gets thrown into a game, that's really hard for the backup.
Mm-hmm.
They get very little reps during the week. Backup quarterbacks, only one guy's preparing for the game.
Yeah.
So Brissett's now had a full week to prepare. I'm going to see how that team responds with Brissett, and use his arm strength as a chance to get down the field now with the weapons they have, because they do have some weapons. But I don't know if they can protect Brissett. I mean, he can't move. He can't move. So
We're getting caught up in the trees here as we should, but you look at the forest. It's like look at the forest here, where you have all these picks, all this draft capital, and everybody's telling you how great you are, and
what'd
how
you do?
every trade they made, it was like, oh, another stroke of genius by
Genius,
Chris Beer and Brian Flores.
genius.
You have to find talent. At
Gotta
some
hit the
point, you
picks.
need to hit the picks. Look at the Cleveland Browns when they went all in on analytics. Sasha Brown,
before
right?
that, yes.
Like it was all the way in the analytics. The one draft, I feel like they had 20 picks. It was something insane. But they traded out of pick after pick. They ended up with Corey Coleman in the first round. He's terrible.
Terrible.
They couldn't draft.
No.
They couldn't sign players.
No.
They stunk. Deshaun Kaiser was their quarterback. You guys worked him out that draft with the Bills. You said he was terrible in the workout.
It was beyond it's just like you couldn't have done work as an evaluator, as a staff, and thought he was going to be the answer to be a star. I mean, it was just mind-boggling.
So you're the Browns, and it's like everybody is saying what you're doing is brilliant, and you're trading down and down and down. That draft they ended up with Deshaun Kaiser, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, why not just stay where you are and take the right guy? They should have seen that.
Is the Miami defense, are they as good as they played last year? I mean, this team has certainly taken a step backwards, where the Patriots have made a step forward quick.
Right.
It's really funny to see how the division plays out, and the Jets are still the Jets right now. But I don't know. That Miami team. I mean, I am interested to see how they play with Brissett. I just feel like this.
I think they're dead. I think they're done. I think the season's over.
It very well could be.
Minka Fitzpatrick, maybe the best defensive back in football, if not top 5.
And
they drafted him. They saw him play lights out as a rookie. You bring in Brian Flores out of that Patriots Super Bowl win over the Rams. I mean, it was a incredible game for the defense. I mean, the game plan was spot on. They made Sean McVay look like Mike Mularkey.
That's a good one.
And I get it. He's defense, man. His scheme, his way. He's going to look for what he wants to look for. Minka Fitzpatrick, when we talked that following offseason for a story of Bleacher Report, he was pretty honest, Jim. Like he said, look, they wanted me to be Patrick Chung. They wanted me to be in the box, close to the line of scrimmage, getting banged around. And he just knew his worth. He knew his value. And he knew it was best for the team for him to be looking at the quarterback, to be away from the line of scrimmage, reacting, reading, all of that stuff, using this range.
That's what he does.
That's what he does. And kudos to the Pittsburgh Steelers trading for Minka Fitzpatrick after they lose Ben Roethlisberger for the season. Like, they saw the big picture. They knew they were bringing in one of the best players in football. And now you saw what you saw week 1, where on the back end, he's confusing Josh Allen. He's doing his thing. Like, that's why I think the Dolphins are kind of forever doomed here. If you're going to screw something like that up, if you're going to screw something like the Tua Tagovailoa pickup, I don't think it's premature. Look at Justin Herbert.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's where it's going to be.
These things add up, and it doesn't matter how many damn picks you have.
What else you do?
It really doesn't.
Quarterback, and that's that position. We talk about it on the show all the time, and it's why.
Yeah.
It's really it's all that matters in football is that guy.
Yeah.
So if Tua is not the guy, it sets you back, especially when Herbert was sitting there.
I mean, I can't believe they beat New England in week 1.
What's incredible?
How the hell did they beat the Patriots?
Well, that's the NFL though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the Patriots aren't, like I said, they're showing signs of things, but they're not like some wide open great team right now offensively. I mean, like I said, Mac Jones is doing what is asked of him, but they're not letting him loose and letting him throw down the field a lot. That's going to have to eventually, they're going to have to find ways to get some big play scores.
That's a good comparison with Tua, because they won 10 games last season with Fitz and Tua, but they didn't ask Tua to do a lot.
No.
They played good defense. They ran the ball okay. I think the difference with Mac Jones and Tua, I do see more rhythm and more of a willingness in Mac Jones to kind of grip it and rip it and throw it downfield.
I think
Tua,
so.
you didn't really see that.
No, I agree
No?
with that. Mac Jones seems a lot more comfortable than Tua did coming in like that.
All right. Anything else before we
No, I think
record our picks?
yeah, I got a couple picks I like. We got tonight. We got Carolina, Houston. We got another rookie starting tonight.
Oh yeah.
Davis Mills for David Culley, the head coach.
Any thoughts on David Culley? Oh, we
Um,
talked about him last week.
Yeah, they're
bit,
playing.
right?
You know what? That team's not. It's not a bum team at all. They have some players on that team. People need to understand that this team is. They're playing pretty. They're giving some good effort on defense. They're doing what they can offensively. I don't know enough about Davis Mills against Carolina's defense, but like I said, funny things happen on a short week when so they have the advantage of being at home. So
All right. If anybody out there didn't catch it, the bonus report, it's excellent.
thanks, man.
The quarterback rankings, it's not the typical
No, it's different.
BS shot into the atmosphere. It's based in analysis and perspective.
I'm putting some work in on it.
And we got a story on LaVisca Chenault Jr. at Go
Crazy.
Long.
Did you ask him about Urban Meyer?
Gosh, we were too busy talking about his dad getting hit by a truck when he was 10 years
wasn't
old.
quite the time.
It didn't really come up, but it was before the season. We caught up. It
Yeah.
would have been.
He probably wasn't even. He probably only been around Urban
No, it
just
was-
a little bit.
It was Thursday morning because I flew into Charlotte. So yeah, I tell everybody here I'm working on a book. I don't know if I'm at liberty to say what the book is about quite yet.
Yeah, but still,
But
let's put it out there.
Been
It's pretty
traveling
cool.
around. It's gonna be interesting. I think people are gonna like it a lot. So I was in Charlotte working on that, and then drove from Charlotte to Jacksonville to see LaVisca Chenault, and man, unbelievable. I mean, I can't imagine being 10 years old,
No,
seeing what he saw. They were driving back from a pool party just outside of Dallas. His family was 5 siblings in the car. And the dad wanted to take over the driving from his mom. They pull over on Loop 12, busy highway. He was wearing kind of like slippery footwear. He slipped. He falls into the highway, and he gets clipped first. And they survived that, but then he gets hit head on by a truck, and then more cars hit him, and he flew 50 yards. And LaVisca was the wide receiver for the Jaguars. Was sitting in the front row between his mom and his dad. He saw all of this, all of it. I don't know how you move on. I think hopefully the story kind of is able to capture how he dealt with it, because I don't think he either like thought about it all the time, and I don't think he buried it in his mind. I think it kind of became who he was at that age. At 10, you're becoming who you are as a human being, and he just shut down. He wouldn't even talk to his younger
has
brother.
every right to.
And it just now, I would say, just as he got into the NFL, he's really been busting out of his shell. He's had a lot of injuries. Colorado, as a sophomore, 6 games in, he led the nation in receptions and yards. So he's got some talent. He's a beast. But yeah, I don't want to give too much away. GoLongTD.com if you want to check it out. Really interesting to, credit to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've spent time on here, bitching and complaining about like access. Really, especially doing the podcast with Bob, and Bob McGann, the Ty and Bob pod for subscribers, and he brings me back to the '80s and the early '90s when like him and Ron Wolf, he could just hang out, he could talk anytime.
Yeah, I like that.
He talked about going to the hotel room where the Packers receivers were staying during training camp. One guy just got cut. And he's just talking to his hotel room. The guy was still in the covers, like pissed off at the team. So like once upon a time, it was humans talking to humans. And that's what I want Go Long to be. I want it to just be humanizing the game of football. Humans talking to humans. Let's get to know these guys on a level that you're not going to get on ESPN, that you're not going to get on NFL Network, at The Athletic, any other place where you can really get to know guys. And it's a battle. It's an ongoing battle access-wise. But credit to the Jacksonville Jaguars, their excellent PR department. I had this idea. I'm talking to LaVisca Chenault, and they made him available. We talked for an hour and a half at least.
Amazing.
It was great. So hopefully it can lean into that with some other teams locally, regionally, and keep these stories coming, Jim.
Well, can we at least give can we talk about the book deal at all? Can we at least tell people what it's not about, or no?
I have to check with my publisher.
All right, let's not talk about it.
I just don't want to, put them in harm's way myself.
No, I'm not gonna say anything.
The second that we can, I'm going to though, because it's been a lot of fun. I was in Austin, Texas last week as well. Can be down in Florida again, so it's it'll be a fun read. I'll say that.
I like it.
All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you everybody for listening. Be sure to check out our picks podcast, which will be a little shorter, but
Yeah.
You got a
It's time to
gambling
get it
expert
going.
here.
Right.
Why aren't we picking these games? Right?
You can read some of my stuff at pickswise.com too. Pickswise.com.
I'm burying the lead.
No, I'm
What am I
doing some.
doing?
No, it's a gambling website that is. I have some stories on there and some shows. I'm doing some picks. So
We have effectively brought Jim to the dark side. You are part of us now. You're
Just
part of
remember,
the media.
I always tell
You're
people.
part of, Aaron Rodgers might blast you.
I would
'cause you're part of the
that would
media
make
now.
me feel good.
Yeah.
But I will always say, you can pay attention to the picks we give out, but make your own picks. It's always better to make your own picks. You don't lose your money with somebody else's picks.
And we'll say too, like everybody check it out, pickswise.com. Jim's writing for them as well. Like you're an excellent writer.
Hey.
You went to school for journalism.
Yeah,
You've got that background. It's
I
in your
know.
blood.
I wrote a lot of scouting reports.
Yeah.
So I need to learn how to maybe write a little more, but at least I did a lot of writing over my time in the NFL. But
Yeah.
so
I love it.
it's fun. I'm
I
learning
love it.
from you and Bob.
Oh, well, I'm learning from you. That's for damn sure. Thank you everybody for listening, making this a part of your lives. It is interesting, Jim. I just feel like, I listen to podcasts. Adam Carolla tried to. Robert Mays at The Athletic. He's got a really good podcast. Who else are listening? The Dispatch is good. There's a bunch of different ones you try to tap into. It's tough. It's tough to juggle podcasts. Everybody's busy. Everybody's doing things. I just want everybody to know, like,
Appreciate it.
we appreciate it. Like the
pretty
fact
cool.
that you make this part of your life,
No, it's
like
cool.
that's awesome. And it means so much to us. So tweet at us, email us, golongtd@gmail.com. Let us know what you want to listen to, what you want to hear. And we'll keep it going every Thursday here at Go Long.
Until next week.
See you guys soon. What's going on, everyone? This is the Go Long podcast. These are your Louis locks of the week. We love to drink Louis IPA at Hamburg Brewing Company. So we're just going to make them the sponsor for this, Jim. Our Louis locks of the week.
I mean, you win a bet, you collect your money, and you come to Hamburg Brewing and you spend your money.
Hell
That's
yeah.
what it's all about.
That's
You
the
don't
circle of
gamble for no
life,
reason.
right? That's the circle of life.
That's it.
All right, let's start here. Carolina, Houston, Thursday night. The game might be over by the time people are listening to this, but let's hear it.
Carolina -8.5 tonight. Always a scary game, taking a road team on Thursday night. This is one of those games they're playing a rookie quarterback, Davis Mills, so the whole nation is going to be taking Carolina, right? The hot team, hot defense. It's never that easy in gambling. I'm not going to play the game tonight, but I am going to play the Panthers in the first half. I got that the other day at -3.5 points. I think the Panthers can maybe get up at half, but something about that 8.5, that opens the back door at the end for Houston to sneak one in and possibly cover. So I'm going to go with Carolina in the first half.
I'm going to go Carolina outright. I
Right.
think it's going to be a complete blowout all the way through. No Tyrod Taylor.
No, but that's how that's the concern. That's kind of the natural thinking of it. And gambling is just never. Sometimes it can be that easy, but let's see what happens. David Culley might have something up his sleeve. All right.
And I like that we're doing it with the spread because this is where you're like an
and I don't
expert
play.
and
Yeah,
I'm
we
not.
have to
I'm
let
just
people
thinking
know.
outright. We're doing it.
We'll
with
give
the
our
spread.
we'll give our Louis locks at the end, like the ones that I definitely would play,
Definitely.
and we can just talk about the game.
Yeah,
still.
you're right. Louis locks will be just.
Those are the
just
ones
a
that.
couple.
Those are the
go-tos.
ones.
All right.
Yeah.
Arizona, Jacksonville.
So we got Arizona -7.5 at Jacksonville. So once again, we're talking about a hot team that we know can score points against a team who is a disaster right now, and yet spread 7.5. Scary. Jacksonville's defense has not played horrible, believe it or not. I don't know if Urban Meyer can pull this together offensively right now. They don't seem to, and they have not protected the quarterback very well. And Arizona gets after the quarterback really well. So there's a lot of concerns there. Could it be a letdown game for Arizona? Vegas may think so with that line being 7.5. Once again, not a game I would play, but if you want to have some fun, maybe throw Jacksonville in an outright winner money line parlay that pays plus 295 to take Jacksonville, because that game, nothing's ever what you think it is in the NFL. Jacksonville looks so bad. Arizona looks so good. Spread 7.5.
You're talking about parlays and this and that.
Yeah, but who are you
feel-
taking?
I feel like
Arizona blowout.
well, no, I'll take Jacksonville to
Plus a 7.5.
I'll take Jacksonville on 7.5.
That's what I'm
myself.
saying. There's something about that. I would certainly, if I played the game, I would take the points.
I was gonna say at Syracuse University, they make you take 2 languages. In Newhouse, the journalism school, I
like
took Italian and French, which I took in high school, and I felt like I was back in my French class with you talking about how you can parlay this and do this and that. Like I'm sure everybody listening, they probably know this language. Our French teacher was Russian who could barely speak English.
See,
So I had a major flashback there, Jim.
at Bloomsburg, they would throw us out of school if we took another language. So we were only allowed to speak one language.
Oh, well, the good thing is I could not speak one sentence in Italian or French.
All right.
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
All right. Colts at Tennessee in Nashville. Tennessee minus 5.5. I like Tennessee in this game.
Yeah, you don't know the quarterback situation with Indy.
No. Tennessee showed up. Tannehill, when they can run the ball with Henry, they're so good offensively. So I'm going to take Tennessee minus 5.5.
They're figuring it out. I like them as a Super Bowl contender for real.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, they are. They're
offensively, how do you
legit
stop
team.
them?
Baltimore at Detroit. Here we go again with a crazy game. Baltimore minus 8 at Detroit.
Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, two of my favorite quarterbacks.
I mean,
it's
they're
tough.
So once again, it goes back to these other games, right? It's a hard swallow to take Detroit. It's a hard swallow to take Houston. But 8 points you can always get that in at the back door, like we like to say. So I wouldn't play this game. Baltimore coming off that crazy win, but there's something up with that game that's scary. So if I played it, I would take Detroit plus 8.
I would take Detroit plus 8 too. I think that Baltimore emotionally vested so much into that game against the Chiefs. You wonder what they have left. I think they win.
Agreed.
I just think it's maybe a little closer than that.
Here we go. The Washington football team
7.5
coming to Buffalo. We got a 7.5 spread.
I like Washington with the
points.
7.5. I think they have a chance to win it outright.
Definitely they do.
If gun to my head, I'm probably taking the Bills to win the game, but I think that Washington, Taylor Heineke's a good quarterback. He's not that bad.
He's not bad, but I can't get the Bills defense out of my head right now. They're playing a dominant defense, and I'm with you. If I play the game, I would actually probably take Buffalo, but I could see that 7.5 coming in at the end like that. So
Leslie Frazier, we talk about Dayball so much. He deserves some credit. What he's done.
Sean, they go way back, and Sean brought him in, and honestly, they've done a really nice job figuring this thing out. Their defense is playing tough.
New Orleans and New England.
So this is a Louis lock for me. I am taking the Patriots minus 2.5, and I love it at minus 2.5, especially when it goes under that 3 number. This is your chance. The Patriots. This is going to be Mac Jones' big test. But the way their defense is playing now, Saints do have a really good offensive line, one of the best in football. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jameis bounces back from last week and see where he's at. I just think this is a good game for the Patriots to beat a really good defense. See where they're at. I'm going to take the Patriots minus 2.5.
I agree with you completely. Love Jameis. Love Sean Payton.
No doubt.
Really love what Bill Belichick is building.
No doubt. Chargers at Kansas City. Herbert and Mahomes. We got Kansas City minus 6.5 right now.
That's a lot. I'm surprised.
Agreed.
This seems. I get it. They're on the road, but Justin Herbert, they drove up and down the field against Dallas. They just couldn't punch it in. A call here, a call there, and it's not even close. I'm going to take San Diego. God, how old?
LA.
I'll take LA with.
Did I say it?
No, it's.
I'll agree with you. I like LA. I like them possibly to win this game outright. I don't like the way the Chiefs defense looks. Bad. They haven't slowed down anybody. So I like the Chargers. All right, Atlanta in the Meadowlands against the Giants.
This is going to be my Louis lock of the
-3,
week,
and it's one of my locks too. I had 2 Louis locks. This is one of mine.
What are you locking in?
Oh, it's the Giants.
Same here.
I'm all in. This is like we talked about earlier in our podcast. This is the Daniel Jones statement game. Are you going to be our franchise quarterback? You better beat Atlanta at home.
They looked good offensively
Agreed.
against Washington. Daniel Jones looked really good
Yep.
against Washington. I think Kenny Galladay lost his mind on the sideline. He said it was for Jason Garrett, not Dan. Isn't that funny? Like everybody thought he was reaming out his quarterback. He's like, no. No, it was actually for the offensive coordinator.
Right.
I appreciate the honesty.
Gotta love that. But
Yeah.
All right. Chicago in Cleveland. We got the Browns -7 against the Bears. Starting who? Justin Fields. Oh, I'm so excited to watch this
Jim
game.
Mona's favorite.
I can't wait.
He didn't look good against Cincy.
He didn't look bad. 2 drops could have
Okay.
changed that the way he looked, and it did look a little chaotic.
And
at
now
the
you
end
have a
of that
whole week to
game.
game plan
I
for
could-
with him.
That he's. I'm not gonna. I would take Justin Fields in the points. The Browns defense hasn't necessarily been as dominant as we may have thought coming into the season. I'm not going to play this game. First of all, I'm not playing the game. But if I did, I would take the Bears +7.
Who do you like to win?
I think the Bears can find a way. I'm
Wow.
a Fields guy. I can't wait to see what he does out there.
I like Cleveland. I
Yep.
think that they had a little scare against Houston. Baker Mayfield had a little bit of a scare, but they've got too much talent.
Mayfield's playing so well. They're so good on offense. All right, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. We got Steelers -3.
That's it. -3.
Uh,
Vegas does not like Ben Roethlisberger, huh?
I don't. I love Joe Burrow, but I hate the Bengals' offensive line. They can't protect him. It's the same issue. Well, I don't know TJ Watt's status right now, but I'd be fine taking the Steelers in that game.
The Steelers are the Steelers. The Bengals are the Bengals.
Like that theory. Miami in Vegas, Jacoby Brissett. We got Vegas -4.5.
Surprised it's not double digits. Everybody heard.
Tells you
read.
something, right?
Why we don't like Miami. I don't know. The Raiders are flying right
They're
now.
playing hot.
offensively.
They're playing hot. Hard to think that spread's only 4.5 for a reason. I would not play this game, but I think I would take Brissett. Take the 4.5. It's
Oh
a
my
strange
God.
game. Strange game.
You can Jacoby. He looked terrible.
Awful.
Jacoby Brissett.
Awful. Why is the spread 4.5?
Like they really should go sign Tim Tebow.
Why is the
somebody.
spread? Don't get crazy. Why is the spread 4.5?
I don't know.
Neither do I. Can never be that easy, can it? I'm
So
not
you-
playing the game.
So
I
you're
wouldn't play
saying
the
like
game.
there's something out there we just don't know.
I wouldn't play it, but I would go ahead and just take Miami in our picks show.
Well, here's a wipeout.
Jets in Denver. Denver -10.5.
10.5. Ah, man. You know, I think
Go
I would
ahead.
take the Jets in
Yeah,
10 and a
that's a lot
half.
of
Like that's a
points.
lot.
I agree.
That's a lot. I mean,
I agree.
at some point you have to think the Broncos offense is going to come back to earth a little,
I agree.
right?
I agree. I would take the 10.
And I don't think Zach Wilson didn't look good.
At
I
some
really
point,
think it had more to do with Belichick and the Patriots than
At some
Wilson
point.
being a bust.
Agreed. Here we go. Game of the week.
Game
Tampa
of the week.
at LA Rams. Rams minus. Oh, I'm sorry. Tampa -1 in LA. I think is a complete no. I disagree with that spread. I like the Rams to win this game.
I don't gamble, Jim, as you know, but I did gamble once last season. It was on the Super Bowl.
You took Tampa.
No,
You went against them.
I took Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I
Same
thought
here.
they would
That's right.
cruise.
Yeah,
I was wrong. I'm not going to make the mistake here. Tampa Bay wins.
I like it. All right, Seattle in Minnesota. Minnesota's 0-2, could easily be 2-0. Seattle -1.5 in Minnesota. I disagree again with the spread. I would take Minnesota.
Really?
I think they should be favored. I don't think they're playing as bad as people think. They just outplayed. They should have beat Arizona.
I think Russell Wilson is maybe the best player in football, and I cannot see a Russell Wilson-led team
Against Kirk
going
Cousins.
1-2. I can't see Russell Wilson losing to Kirk Cousins. That's what it
All
comes down to.
Green Bay in San Fran. Aaron gets to go back to California, his home state.
All right.
San Fran is -3.5.
San Francisco's got a lot of injuries. I
Lot
mean,
of
they're banged
injuries.
up at corner.
Agreed.
They're banged up at running back.
Agreed.
I don't even know who's going to carry the ball for them.
They don't either.
Right? I mean, everybody's hurt.
Right.
Everybody.
I wouldn't play this game.
I mean, eventually you have to think they get Trey Sermon going. I mean, maybe this is that week. I think whoever's back there, though, is going to probably rush for close to 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And Green Bay's defense did not look good in the first half against
not
Detroit.
really.
I don't think it's time for Joe Barry to go on, Mad Dog Sports Radio and call everybody idiots. So there's there are questions in Green Bay, but they did get things figured out on offense. Aaron Jones is a freaking stud. Devontae Adams is a stud. Aaron Rodgers played really, really well. But I'm taking San Francisco.
I'd go San Fran,
I
too.
think that San Francisco at home, right?
In San Fran.
At home, they've got Rodgers' number. They've
Yeah,
got
I'm
the
good.
Packers' number.
I'd be good taking San Fran
Yep.
too.
Let's not forget Shanahan and LaFleur coach together too.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a
Shanahan
good-
kind of has them.
They're gonna have a good little matchup. Monday nighter, Philly at Dallas. Hurts returns to Texas. I'm okay taking the 4 points here, to be honest with you. I think Philly can win this game. I think Hurts is going to have something for it. This Dallas defense is playing better, like Dan Quinn, like we talked about. Dan Quinn has them playing, but there's something about this Philly team. They played San Fran tough. It's a tough game. Dallas is so good, but I'm going to
Jalen
take the
Reagor-
points. I like the 4 points, possible upset.
Did you watch that game live?
And I
at all?
did. No, not live.
Did you see the play where Hurts threw deep to
Yes,
Rager?
I saw
if
that.
he can stay in
If
bounds,
he stayed in.
That place was
Different game.
electric.
Different game.
It's a different game.
No doubt.
I like the Eagles with, I'll take Eagles outright.
Yeah, I feel
over
the
the
same
Cowboys.
way.
The Cowboys, they should not have won that game against the Chargers.
So let's
And-
finish with our Louis locks. My 3 are the Patriots over the Saints, the Giants over the Falcons, and I'm going to take the Rams over Tampa as my 3 Louis locks.
Louis locks. I think mine.
You like the Giants as one
The
of your Louis
Giants are a
locks?
lock. I'm gonna go Steelers as a lock, and
Give one more. 3 is good. 3 is
I
always a good
think Seattle.
one over Minnesota.
I can't see Kirk
There it
Cousins
is.
beating Russell Wilson.
There's
so.
our Louis locks.
There it is. Your Louis locks.
3 each. We'll recap it next week. See how we do.
Sounds good. Keep score at home, right? No, if we know
You got to keep your record.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.